Katie Sullivan woke up early on Saturday morning. She loved yard sales more than anything else in the world. Her mom gave her $10 every weekend to spend on old things that might be interesting. Katie had a special gift for finding broken machines and making them work again. The sun was just coming up when Katie rode her bike down Maple Street. She saw colorful signs pointing to Mrs. Henderson's house. Mrs. Henderson was an old lady who lived alone in the big blue house at the end of the street. Katie had never seen a yard sale there before. Tables covered with old things filled Mrs. Henderson's front yard. There were books, clothes, dishes, and lots of electronics. Katie's eyes lit up when she saw the electronics table. She loved taking apart old radios and computers to see how they worked. Mrs. Henderson smiled when she saw Katie. "Good morning, dear. You're up early today." "I love looking at old things," Katie said. "My dad says I have magic hands because I can fix anything." Katie walked around the electronics table slowly. She picked up an old radio, a broken calculator, and some computer parts. Then something caught her eye. Hidden behind a pile of old cables was a small metal cube. It was about the size of a baseball and felt heavier than it looked. The cube was made of dark metal that seemed to change color when Katie moved it. Strange patterns covered every side. The patterns looked like writing, but not from any language Katie had ever seen. When she looked at the patterns closely, they seemed to move slightly like they were alive. "What's this?" Katie asked, holding up the cube. Mrs. Henderson came over to look. "Oh, that old thing. My husband found it years ago when he bought an old storage unit. He always said it was some kind of puzzle box, but he never could figure it out. I was going to throw it away." "How much do you want for it?" Katie asked. The cube felt warm in her hands, and she had a strange feeling that it was important. "Well, I was thinking $5, Mrs. Henderson said. Katie only had $10, and she wanted to buy some other things too. "Could you take $2? That's all I have left after buying this radio." Mrs. Henderson looked at Katie's hopeful face and smiled. $2 it is, dear. I hope you have better luck with it than my husband did." Katie paid for the cube and the radio, then rode her bike home. She couldn't stop thinking about the strange metal cube. It felt warm in her backpack, almost like it was alive. At home, Katie went straight to her workshop in the garage. Her dad had given her a whole corner with a workbench and tools. She loved spending time there, fixing things and building new inventions. Katie put the cube on her workbench and turned on the bright lamp. Under the light, the patterns on the cube seemed even more alive. She traced them with her finger, trying to understand what they meant. "What are you supposed to do?" she asked the cube quietly. As if answering her question, the cube suddenly got warmer. The patterns began to glow with a soft blue light. Katie gasped and pulled her hand back, but she wasn't scared. She was excited. Carefully, Katie touched the cube again. This time, she pressed on one of the glowing patterns. The pattern clicked down like a button. The cube made a soft humming sound, and more patterns began to glow. For the next hour, Katie pressed different patterns, trying to figure out the puzzle. Each time she pressed the right pattern, the cube hummed happily, and more lights appeared. It was like the cube was teaching her how to use it. Finally, Katie pressed a pattern that looked like a star. The entire cube suddenly blazed with light. Katie shielded her eyes as the light got brighter and brighter. When the light faded, the cube had changed completely. It was no longer a simple metal box. Now it looked like a complex device with crystal parts and glowing circuits. A holographic screen appeared in the air above it, showing symbols and numbers that Katie didn't understand. "Wow," Katie whispered. She had never seen anything like this before. She reached out to touch the holographic screen. When her finger went through one of the symbols, it changed color. The device made musical sounds, like it was trying to talk to her. Suddenly, the device projected a new image. It showed what looked like a key made of light. The image pointed to Katie, then pointed outside. Katie looked toward the garage door, then back at the device. "You want me to go outside?" The device hummed softly, and the light key image nodded. Katie picked up the device carefully. It was still, warm, but now it felt friendly, like a pet that was happy to see her. She walked outside into her backyard. The device in her hands began to pulse with light. Each pulse was stronger than the last. Katie looked around, confused. Their backyard was just grass and trees. There was nothing special there. Then she saw it. Behind the big oak tree, the air began to shimmer like heat waves on a hot day. But it wasn't hot outside. The shimmering got stronger, and Katie could see the outline of something huge. Slowly, like a magic trick, a massive spaceship appeared in the field behind her house. It was bigger than her entire house, with smooth silver walls and blue lights running along its sides. The ship was beautiful and scary at the same time. Katie stood frozen, holding the device that was now glowing so brightly it hurt to look at. The spaceship's lights pulsed in rhythm with the device in her hands. A section of the ship's wall slid open, creating a ramp that led up into the ship. Soft blue light spilled out of the opening, and Katie could hear a gentle humming sound coming. From inside, the device in her hands projected the light key image again, but this time it pointed toward the open ship. Katie took a deep breath. She knew she should be scared, but she wasn't. The ship felt friendly, just like the device. It was waiting for her. "Okay," she whispered to the device. "Let's see what you really are." Katie walked slowly toward the spaceship, her heart beating fast with excitement and wonder. She had bought this amazing thing for just $2 at a yard sale. Now it had led her to the most incredible discovery of her life. As she stepped onto the ramp, Katie smiled. She had always known she was good at fixing things, but she never imagined she would find something this amazing to fix. Katie stepped inside the spaceship and gasped. The walls glowed with soft blue light, and everything looked smooth and clean. The floor felt warm under her feet, and the air smelled fresh like after a spring rain. "Hello?" Katie called out softly. Her voice echoed in the empty hallway. Suddenly, lights began turning on all around her. They formed a path leading deeper into the ship. Katie followed the lights, still holding the device that had brought her here. The lights led her to a large room with a chair in the center. The chair looked like it was made for someone her size. Around the chair were screens and controls that glowed with the same blue light as everything else. When Katie sat in the chair, something amazing happened. The device in her hands melted like water and flowed into the chair's armrests. The screens around her came alive with pictures and symbols. "Welcome, young captain," said a voice. It sounded like a kind woman, but Katie couldn't see anyone. "Who's there?" Katie asked, looking around the room. "I am Arya," the voice said. I'm this ship's computer. I have been waiting for someone to find me for a very long time." "How long?" Katie asked. 9,000 years, Arya replied. "You are the first person who could activate the key device. That makes you my new captain." Katie's eyes went wide. "I'm only 12 years old. I can't be a captain of anything." "Age does not matter," Arya said gently. The ship chooses its captain based on heart, not years. You have the right heart, Katie Sullivan. How do you know my name? The key device learned about you when you solved its puzzle. You are very smart and very kind. Those are the most important things for a ship captain. Katie looked around the amazing room. What kind of ship is this? I am the Starforge, Arya said proudly. Long ago, I helped bring peace between many different kinds of people from different worlds. My last captain was a brave human named Jade Morrison. She was a lot like you. Before Katie could ask more questions, she heard voices outside the ship. She looked at one of the screens and saw two people walking toward the ship. One was a tall woman with long blonde hair and pointed ears. The other was a shorter woman in a strange uniform. Someone's coming, Katie whispered. I see them, Arya said. The one with pointed ears is an elf. Her name is Zara Moonwhisper. She has been looking for me for many years. The other one is from a different world. Her people are called Krillians. Katie watched as the two women stopped in front of the ship. They were talking, but she couldn't hear what they were saying. Should I hide? Katie asked. No, Arya said. Zara is not dangerous. She wants to help. But the Krillian might try to take me away from you. Katie felt scared. Why would she want to take you? Because the Starforge is very powerful. Many people want to control that power. But you don't want power, do you, Katie? You just want to help people. Yes, Katie said. I always try to help people. That's why you are the right captain, Arya said. The elf woman called Zara walked up the ramp into the ship. She moved slowly and kept her hands where Katie could see them. Hello, Zara said in a kind voice. My name is Zara. I'm not here to hurt you. I'm Katie, she replied, staying in the captain's chair. Zara looked around the ship with wonder in her eyes. You actually got her to wake up. I've been searching for the Starforge for over 100 years. 100 years? Katie gasped. How old are you? Zara smiled. Elves live much longer than humans. I'm 340 years old, but compared to this ship, I'm still very young. Arya told me the ship is 9,000 years old. That's right, Zara said. The Starforge was built during the Great War to fight against terrible enemies. Your people and my people worked together to build her. Humans and elves work together? Yes. Humans are very good at thinking of new ideas quickly. Elves are good at making those ideas work perfectly. Together we built the most amazing ship in the galaxy. Suddenly, the other woman appeared at the top of the ramp. She was shorter than Zara, but looked much stronger. Her skin was gray, and she had small ridges on her forehead. She carried what looked like a weapon. Step away from the ship, child, the Krillian woman said in a stern voice. This vessel belongs to the Krillian Empire. Katie felt the chair get warmer, like Arya was protecting her. No, she said firmly. Arya chose me as her captain. The Krillian woman laughed. A human child cannot be the captain of the most powerful warship ever built. I am Commander Vex High of the Krillian fleet, the woman continued. I order you to surrender this ship immediately. The ship doesn't belong to you, Zara said, stepping between Katie and the commander. Commander Vex High pointed her weapon at Zara. Move aside, elf. This is Krillian business. Katie felt angry. No one should point weapons at nice people like Zara. She put her hands on the chair's armrests where the device had melted in. Leave her alone, Katie said. Suddenly, the ship came, alive around them. Lights flashed and a low humming sound filled the air. The weapon in Commander Vexhi's hand sparked and went dead. "My weapon!" the commander exclaimed. "The Starforge doesn't like weapons pointed at friends," Arya's voice said through speakers in the walls. "Commander Vexhi, you are not welcome here." "Impossible," the commander said. "Ship computers cannot refuse orders from military officers." "I am not just a computer," Arya replied. "I am alive, and I choose my own friends." Katie stood up from the chair. She was still scared, but she felt braver with Arya helping her. "Commander Vexhi," Katie said, trying to sound like the grown-ups she had seen on TV. "This is my ship. Now, I didn't steal it. I bought the key at a yard sale for $2. The commander stared at Katie in disbelief. $2? "Yes. Mrs. Henderson sold it to me. I solved the puzzle and activated the ship. Arya says that makes me the captain." Zara smiled proudly. "The ship can only be activated by someone pure, of heart. Katie must be very special." Commander Vexhi lowered her broken weapon. She looked confused and frustrated. "This is not over," she said to Katie. "My people will not allow a human child to control such power. Then your people will have to fight me," Katie said, surprising herself with how brave she sounded. The commander looked at Katie for a long moment, then turned and walked down the ramp. When she was gone, Zara sat down next to Katie's chair. "That was very brave," Zara said. "But Commander Vexhi was right about one thing. Many people will want to take this ship from you." "Will you help me?" Katie asked. "Yes," Zara said without hesitation. "I believe you're exactly what the galaxy needs, right now." "What do you mean?" Zara looked serious. "There are signs that the old enemies are returning. The ones the Starforge was built to fight. If that's true, then finding you wasn't an accident. It was destiny." Katie felt overwhelmed. A few hours ago, her biggest worry was having enough money for yard sales. Now she was the captain of an ancient spaceship, and people from other worlds wanted to fight her. "I don't know how to be a spaceship captain," she admitted. "That's okay," Arya said gently. "I will teach you everything you need to know, and Zara will help too. We'll take it one step at a time," Zara agreed. "But first we need to get away from here. Commander Vexhi will be back with more ships." Katie looked out at her backyard, then at her house where her parents were probably still sleeping. She couldn't leave without saying goodbye. "Can I tell my mom and dad where I'm going?" Zara shook her head sadly. "It's not safe. If the Krillians think your family knows about the ship, they might hurt them." Katie felt tears in her eyes. She loved her parents and didn't want to leave them. "Don't worry," Arya said kindly. "When it's safe, you can come home and tell them everything, but right now we need to keep them safe by keeping them away from this." Katie wiped her eyes and nodded. She was scared, but she knew Arya and Zara were right. "Okay," she said. "Where do we go?" "To the stars," Zara said with a smile. "It's time for you to see how big and wonderful the galaxy really is." Katie gripped the arms of the captain's chair as the Starforge lifted off from Earth. Through the big screen in front of her, she watched her house get smaller and smaller until it disappeared completely. "Don't be sad," Arya said gently. "You'll see your home again someday." "I know," Katie said, but her voice was shaky. "It's just scary leaving everything behind." Zara put a comforting hand on Katie's shoulder. "When I was young, I left my homeworld for the first time, too. I was terrified. But I discovered that the galaxy is full of amazing friends waiting to meet you." The ship flew higher until Katie could see all of Earth below them. It looked like a beautiful blue marble floating in space. She had seen pictures of Earth from space before, but seeing it with her own eyes was incredible. "Where are we going?" Katie asked. "To Haven Station," Zara replied. "It's a safe place where people from all different worlds can meet and trade. No one there will try to hurt you." "How far away is it?" "Very far," Arya said. "But I can travel. Through hyperspace. That means we can go much faster than normal spaceships." Katie felt excited despite being scared. She was about to travel to another world. "Hold on tight," Arya warned. "Hyperspace can feel strange the first time." The stars outside suddenly stretched into long lines of light. Katie felt like she was being pulled in all directions at once, but it didn't hurt. It just felt very weird. Then everything went back to normal, except now the stars looked completely different. "We're here," Zara announced. Katie looked at the main screen and gasped. In front of them was a huge space station that looked like a giant wheel spinning slowly in space. Colorful lights covered its surface, and dozens of different spaceships were flying around it. "That's Haven Station," Zara explained. "Over 1 million people live there." 1 million people in space? Katie couldn't believe it. "People from hundreds of different worlds," Arya added. "Haven Station is neutral territory. That means no one is allowed to fight there." As they got closer, Katie could see that the spaceships around the station came in all shapes and sizes. Some looked like Earth spaceships from movies, but others were completely alien. "Request permission to dock," Arya said, talking to the station. "Permission granted," a friendly voice replied. "Welcome to Haven Station, Starforge. We haven't seen you in a very long time." "They know your name?" Katie asked. "The Starforge is famous," Zara explained. "Everyone thought it was lost forever. Their ship landed in a huge docking bay filled with other ships. Through the windows, Katie could see people walking around, but they didn't all look human. Some had pointed ears like Zara, others had different colored skin or strange shapes. "My first aliens," Katie whispered in wonder. "You're an alien too, from their point of view," Zara said with a smile. They left the ship and walked into the station. Katie tried not to stare, but it was hard. She saw tall people with blue skin, short people covered in fur, and even some that looked like walking lizards, but everyone seemed friendly and happy. "Katie!" someone called out. They turned to see a young elf running toward them. She had short red hair and wore clothes covered with grease stains. "This is Luna Brightblade," Zara said. "She's an engineer and she's been waiting to meet you." Luna looked like she was about Katie's age, but Zara had explained that elves aged differently than humans. "You're the human child who activated the Starforge?" Luna asked excitedly. "Yes, I'm Katie." "That's amazing. I've been studying ancient technology my whole life. Well, my whole 89 years anyway. How did you figure out the puzzle?" "I just pressed the buttons that felt right," Katie said. Luna's eyes went wide. "You used intuition to solve a puzzle that has stumped scientists for thousands of years. Humans really are special." Katie liked Luna immediately. She reminded her of herself, excited about technology and eager to learn new things. "Want to see my workshop?" Luna asked. "I've been working on some improvements for old ships like yours." They followed Luna through the station's busy streets. Katie saw shops selling strange foods, clothes from different worlds, and technology she couldn't even guess the purpose of. Luna's workshop was filled with half-built machines and computers that beeped and flashed. It reminded Katie of her garage back home, just much more advanced. "I've been studying the old records about the Starforge," Luna said. pulling up holographic displays. "Did you know your ship was built to fight something called the Void Seekers?" "What are Void Seekers?" Katie asked. Zara and Luna exchanged worried looks. "They were an ancient enemy," Zara explained. "They came from dark space and tried to destroy all life in the galaxy. The Starforge was humanity's greatest weapon against them." "But they were defeated, right?" Katie asked. "We thought so," Luna said quietly. "But lately there have been strange signals from the edge of the galaxy, signals that match old Void Seeker transmissions." Katie felt a chill run down her spine. "You think they're coming back?" "We don't know for sure," Zara said. "But if they are, then you finding the Starforge wasn't an accident." Luna nodded. "The ship might have been waiting for the right person to wake it up, someone who could use it to protect the galaxy again." Katie sat down heavily. This was a lot to take in. A few days ago, she was just a normal kid who liked fixing broken things. Now people were telling her she might have to save the galaxy. "I don't know how to fight anyone," Katie said. "I've never even been in a real fight." "That's why you're perfect," Luna said. "The first human captain of the Starforge, Jade Morrison, wasn't a soldier either. She was an explorer who just wanted to help people. But she learned to be a great leader," Zara added, "and we'll help you learn too." Over the next few weeks, Katie stayed at Haven Station learning everything she could. Arya taught her how to fly the ship and use its systems. Zara taught her about the different species in the galaxy and how to talk to them. Luna showed her how the ship's technology worked. Katie was a fast learner. She discovered that she had a natural talent for understanding how different systems work together. More importantly, she learned that being a good captain wasn't about being the strongest or smartest. It was about caring for your crew and making decisions that helped everyone. One day, while Katie was practicing flying the ship in a simulator, alarms started going off all over Haven Station. "What's happening?" Katie asked. Arya's voice filled the room. "Long-range sensors have detected something at the edge of the system. Something big." They rushed to the station's control center, where dozens of people were working frantically at computers. "It's a Void Seeker scout ship." "The station," Commander announced. "It just appeared out of nowhere." Katie felt her heart racing. The enemy they had been worried about was here. "How big is it?" Zara asked. "Bigger than anything we've seen before," the commander replied. "It's heading straight for the station." Katie looked at the image on the main screen. The Void Seeker ship was black as space itself and covered with strange spikes. Just looking at it made her feel scared and sad at the same time. "All ships are being ordered to evacuate the station," the commander continued. "That thing could destroy us easily." Katie felt everyone looking at her. They all knew she was the captain of the Starforge now. "What should we do?" Luna asked quietly. Katie closed her eyes and tried to think. All these people were in danger. If she ran away, the Void Seeker ship might destroy Haven Station and kill everyone. But if she fought it, she might lose and still not save anyone. Then she remembered what Zara had told her about Captain Morrison. She hadn't been a soldier, but she had always tried to help people. Katie opened her eyes. "We're going to stop that ship." "Katie, you don't have to do this," Zara said. "You're just learning to fly. No one expects you to fight." "Yes, they do," Katie replied. "That's why I found the ship. That's why Arya chose me. I can't let these people get hurt." Luna smiled proudly. "Then let's go save everyone." They ran back to the Starforge as fast as they could. Katie jumped into the captain's chair while Zara and Luna took positions at other stations. "Arya, are you ready?" Katie asked. "I've been ready for 9,000 years," Arya replied. Let's show this Void Seeker what the Starforge can do. The ship lifted off from Haven Station and flew toward the approaching enemy. Katie felt scared, but she also felt something else. Determination. She had found her purpose. She was going to protect her new friends no matter what. The battle with the Void Seeker scout ship was over quickly. Katie had fired the Starforge's weapons once, and the enemy ship simply disappeared in a flash of light. But instead of feeling happy, Katie felt sad. She could sense that living beings had been on that ship. "You did what you had to do," Arya said gently, reading Katie's emotions through the ship's systems. "I know," Katie replied, "but I wish there had been another way." News of Katie's victory spread across the galaxy faster than she expected. Within days, ships from dozens of different worlds arrived at Haven Station. Some came to thank her, others came to meet the young human who commanded the legendary Starforge. But not all the visitors were friendly. "You're too young to have such power," said Admiral Chen, a stern woman from the Earth Defense Force. She had come to Haven Station to take Katie back to Earth. "The ship chose me," Katie said firmly. They were meeting in Haven Station's main conference room, with representatives from many different worlds watching. "Earth cannot allow a child to represent humanity in galactic affairs," Admiral Chen continued. "You need proper training and supervision." "With respect, Admiral," said Senator Maya Rodriguez, another human representative, "Katie has already done more for human-alien relations than our government has in years." Senator Rodriguez was younger than Admiral Chen and seemed much friendlier. She had been impressed by how Katie had saved Haven Station. "The girl destroyed a Void Seeker ship on her first day as captain," added Ambassador Thorne, a tall elf with silver hair. "Perhaps we should listen to what she has to say." Katie stood up, feeling nervous with so many important people watching her. "I know I'm young, and I know I have a lot to learn. But the Void Seekers are coming back. I can feel it. The Starforge can feel it. We need to work together, not argue about who's in charge." "You speak of threats we cannot see," said War Chief Thane, a large Krillian with scars on his face. "The Krillian Empire does not fear shadows." Just then, Commander Vexhai entered the room. Katie tensed, remembering their first meeting. "War Chief," Vexhai said, bowing to the larger Krillian, "I have new information about the Void Seeker threat." She activated a holographic display showing a map of the galaxy. Red dots appeared along the outer edges. "These are all the places where Void Seeker signals have been detected in the past month," Vexhai explained. "They're not just scouts. They're building something out there." The room fell silent as everyone studied the map. There were dozens of red dots, and they formed a pattern around the entire galaxy. "It looks like they're surrounding us," Senator Rodriguez said quietly. "That's exactly what they're doing," said a new voice. Everyone turned to see an old human man in a lab coat walking into the room. He had wild gray hair and thick glasses. "This is Dr. Alex Foster," Luna announced. "He's a scientist who studies ancient alien technology." Dr. Foster walked to the holographic display and pointed at the pattern of red dots. 9,000 years ago, this is exactly what the Void Seekers did before their final attack, he explained. "They're not just coming back. They're using the same strategy that almost destroyed the galaxy before." "How do you know this?" War Chief Thane demanded. "Because I've spent my whole life studying the records from the last war," Dr. Foster replied. "The Void Seekers aren't just destroyers. They're corrupted beings who were once peaceful. Something terrible happened to them long ago and it drove them mad." Katie felt a strange sensation, like Arya was trying to tell her something important. "Arya," she said quietly. "The doctor is correct," Arya's voice said through the room's speakers. "I have records of what the Void Seekers were like before they were corrupted. They were explorers and builders, much like humans." "What corrupted them?" Katie asked. "We never found out," Arya replied, "but my former captain, Jade Morrison, believed they could be saved instead of destroyed." Admiral Chen shook her head. "Saved? They're trying to destroy all life in the galaxy." "Because they're in pain," Dr. Foster said. "Think about it. If you were trapped in constant suffering, you might want to end everything too." Katie felt tears in her eyes. The idea of beings in constant pain made her heart hurt. "Could we really save them?" she asked. "The Star Forge was designed for more than fighting," Dr. Foster explained. "It has technology that can heal corruption at the molecular level. But it would require getting close to their source." "Their source?" Zara asked. "The Void Queen," Dr. Foster said. "She's the center of their hive mind. If we could heal her, we might be able to heal all of them." "That's suicide," War Chief Thane declared. "No ship could get close enough to their queen and survive." "The Star Forge could," Commander Vex High said quietly. Everyone stared at her in surprise. "What?" War Chief Thane roared. "You would trust our fate to a human child?" Vex High stood straighter. "I have fought alongside humans before. They see solutions where others see only problems. Katie defeated our scout ship not with superior firepower, but with quick thinking and courage." Katie was amazed. The Krillian commander who had tried to take her ship was now defending her. "I request permission to join Katie's crew," Vex High continued. "My knowledge of military tactics could be useful." War Chief Thane looked furious, but he couldn't argue with his own commander's request. "I want to help too," said Luna. "The Starforge will need technical support for a mission like this. And I know more about Void Seeker technology than anyone alive," Dr. Foster added. Soon representatives from many different worlds were volunteering to help. Katie watched in amazement as species that had been enemies for centuries offered to work together. "Wait," Admiral Chen said. "Even if we could heal the Void Queen, how would we get close enough? They'll have thousands of ships protecting her." Katie closed her eyes and felt Arya's presence in her mind. Images flashed through. Her thoughts, memories of the last war, plans that Captain Morrison had made but never tried. "We don't fight our way through," Katie said, opening her eyes. "We unite the galaxy first. Every species, every ship working together, not to destroy the Void Seekers, but to save them." "That's impossible," Admiral Chen protested. "Some species have been at war for thousands of years." "Not impossible," Senator Rodriguez said thoughtfully. "Difficult, but not impossible. Katie saved Haven Station. Maybe she can save the galaxy, too." Over the next few weeks, Katie found herself traveling to different worlds with her new crew. Vex High taught her about military strategy and honor. Luna helped upgrade the Starforge with technology from many different species. Dr. Foster explained the science behind Void Seeker corruption. Zara helped her understand the complex politics between different worlds. Most importantly, Katie learned that being a leader meant listening to everyone and making decisions that helped the most people, even when those decisions were hard. Not everyone agreed to help. Some species were too afraid, others too proud. But slowly, a coalition began to form. Humans, elves, Krillians, and dozens of other species started working together in ways they never had before. The most surprising addition to their alliance came when the Healers Guild, a group of peaceful beings who had stayed neutral in all wars, offered to help. "We have watched the Void Seekers for many years," their representative explained. "We believe young Katie is correct. They can be healed, not destroyed." As their alliance grew stronger, so did the Void Seeker attacks. More scout ships appeared throughout the galaxy, testing defenses and gathering information. "They're almost ready for their main attack," Dr. Foster warned during one of their strategy meetings. Katie looked at the reports coming in from across the galaxy. Hundreds of ships had joined their alliance, but they would need thousands to have any chance of success. "How much time do we have?" she asked. "Days, maybe weeks," Vex High replied. "Our scouts report massive movement at the galaxy's edge." Katie felt the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. So many people were counting on her, and she was still just a 12-year-old girl who missed her parents. But then she felt Arya's comforting presence and saw her friends around her. Zara with her wisdom, Luna with her technical brilliance, Vex High with her courage, and Dr. Foster with his knowledge. "Then we'd better get ready," Katie said. "It's time to save the galaxy." The final battle began at dawn in the Nexus system, where 7 different hyperspace routes met. Katie stood on the bridge of the Starforge, looking at the largest fleet ever assembled in galactic history. Over 3,000 ships from 47 different worlds floated in formation around her. "All ships report ready," Commander Vex High announced from her position at the tactical station. Katie took a deep breath. Through the main screen, she could see the edge of the galaxy where space itself seemed to be getting darker. The Void Seekers were coming. "Remember," Katie said into the communication system that connected all the ships, "we're not here to destroy them. We're here to save them." Some of the alien captains had trouble understanding this concept, but they trusted Katie, the young human. Girl had done something no adult leader had managed. She had united the galaxy. "Contact," Luna reported from her engineering station. "Void Seeker ships are entering the system." The enemy fleet emerged from the darkness like a nightmare. Thousands of black ships shaped like deadly thorns filled the space in front of them. At the center was the largest ship Katie had ever seen, the Void Queen's flagship. "By the stars," Zara whispered. "There are so many of them." "Our fleet is outnumbered 3-1, Vex High reported grimly. Katie felt fear trying to take hold of her heart, but she pushed it away. She had to be brave for everyone counting on her. "All ships, begin the approach," Katie ordered. "Remember the plan." The Allied fleet moved forward in a careful formation. The Starforge led the way, with the strongest ships protecting the weaker ones. Their goal wasn't to win a normal battle. It was to get Katie close enough to the Void Queen to attempt the healing. The Void Seekers attacked with terrifying fury. Their weapons sent beams of dark energy that could tear through ship hulls like paper, but the Allied fleet was ready. Different species had shared their best defensive technologies, creating shields stronger than any one world could build alone. "Shield strength at 70%, Luna reported as dark energy beams struck their ship. "Arya, how close do we need to get?" Katie asked. "Very close," the ship's AI replied. "The healing beam has a limited range. We need to be within a few kilometers of the Void Queen herself." Katie watched the battle raging around them. Ships from both sides were being destroyed, and she felt sad for every life lost. But they were getting closer to their goal. "Katie," Dr. Foster called from his science station. "I'm reading massive energy buildup from the Queen's ship. She's preparing something big." Suddenly, the space around the Queen's flagship began to twist and bend. Dark energy spread out like ripples. in a pond touching every Void Seeker ship. The enemy fleet's attacks became even more vicious. She's boosting their power, Vexahai realized. The Queen is making them stronger by sharing her pain. Katie felt tears on her cheeks. She could sense the agony radiating from the Void Queen through the Starforge's sensors. The ancient ruler wasn't just commanding her fleet. She was suffering with every one of them. "We have to reach her now," Katie said urgently. "The path is blocked by too many enemy ships," Vexhai reported. "We'll never make it through." Katie closed her eyes and reached out with her mind, feeling for Arya's consciousness. The ship's AI was more than just a computer. She was alive, and she had her own memories of pain and loss. "Arya," Katie said quietly, "can you connect me to the Queen's ship?" "That's very dangerous," Arya warned. "If the corruption touches your mind, it could destroy you." "I have to try," Katie replied. "She needs to know we're here to help, not hurt her." Katie felt Arya's reluctance, but the AI trusted her captain. Slowly, carefully, Arya established a connection between the Starforge and the Queen's flagship. The moment the connection was made, Katie gasped. Pain flooded her mind, thousands of years of suffering, loneliness, and madness. The Void Queen had been trapped in darkness for so long that she had forgotten what light looked like. But Katie didn't pull away. Instead, she sent her own feelings through the connection. Love for her friends, hope for the future, and sadness for the Queen's pain. The battle around them suddenly stopped. Every Void Seeker ship froze in space as their Queen felt something she hadn't experienced in millennia, compassion from another being. "What's happening?" Luna asked in amazement. "Katie's talking to her," Dr. Foster said, staring at his instruments. "The Queen's brainwave patterns are changing." Through the mental connection, Katie felt the Void Queen's confusion. The ancient being couldn't understand why this small human child cared about her suffering. "You don't have to hurt anymore," Katie said, sending the thought across space. "Let me help you." Images flashed through the connection, memories of what the Void Seekers had been like before their corruption. They had been explorers and artists, spreading beauty throughout the galaxy. Their fall into darkness had been caused by an accident with experimental technology that had trapped them in eternal pain. "I remember," the Queen's voice echoed in Katie's mind. "We were different once." "You can be different again," Katie replied. "But you have to let me close enough to heal you." The Queen's flagship slowly moved forward, past her own protective fleet. The massive black ship came to a stop just a few kilometers from the Starforge. "Now, Arya!" Katie shouted. The Starforge's healing beam activated, sending pure white energy toward the Queen's ship. But instead of destroying it, the beam began to repair the corruption at the molecular level. Katie felt the Queen's amazement as the healing energy touched her. For the first time in thousands of years, the pain began to fade. But the healing process was draining Katie's strength. She could feel her life force being pulled into the beam to power the massive undertaking. "Katie, you have to stop," Zara cried. "You're killing yourself." "Not yet," Katie gasped. "She's almost healed." Luna and Vexhai rushed to Katie's side, each taking one of her hands. "Use our strength too," Luna said. "And mine," Zara added, placing her hand on Katie's shoulder. "And mine," Dr. Foster said, joining them. One by one, everyone on the bridge linked themselves to Katie, sharing their life force to power the healing beam. Through the ship's communication system, other crews began doing the same thing. The white beam grew stronger, fed by the combined will of thousands of beings who chose to give of themselves to save their enemies. The corruption around the Void Queen began to dissolve like shadows touched by sunlight. Her ship changed from black to silver, and the twisted spikes became smooth curves. Most importantly, Katie felt the Queen's mind clearing as the madness that had driven her for millennia finally ended. I remember who I was, the Queen said, in wonder. We all remember. Across the battlefield, every Void Seeker ship began to change. The dark energy that had powered them for so long was replaced by clean, bright light. The beings inside them felt their minds clearing for the first time in thousands of years. When the healing was complete, Katie collapsed in her captain's chair, exhausted but happy. The battle was over, but no one had been destroyed. Instead, an entire race had been saved. The Void Queen's ship approached the Starforge carefully. A smaller shuttle emerged from it and docked with Katie's ship. The being who entered the bridge was tall and graceful, with silver skin that seemed to glow with inner light. She looked nothing like the dark, twisted creatures her people had become. "You are the one who saved us," the Queen said, kneeling before Katie's chair. "We all saved you," Katie replied weakly. "Everyone worked together. You gave us back our souls," the Queen continued. "How can we ever repay such a gift?" Katie smiled. "Help us make the galaxy a better place. Use your technology to heal instead of hurt." The Queen nodded solemnly. "It will be our honor." In the months that followed, the galaxy changed dramatically. The former Void Seekers, who now called themselves the Restored, shared their advanced technology freely. They helped terraform dead worlds and cure diseases that had plagued other species for centuries. Katie returned to Earth as a hero, but she didn't stay long. The galaxy was a big place, and there were still people who needed help. The Starforge became a mobile academy where young beings from all species could learn to work together. Katie, now 13, spent her time teaching others that the greatest strength came not from weapons or technology, but from understanding and compassion. Zara became Katie's official second-in-command and helped establish diplomatic relations between species that had never spoken before. Luna designed new technologies that improved life for billions of beings. Commander Vexhai led a new peacekeeping force that resolved conflicts without violence. Dr. Foster continued his research, but now he focused on healing and restoration instead of weapons. And Aria, the ancient AI who had waited 9,000 years for the right captain, finally felt truly alive again. She had found her purpose in helping Katie spread hope throughout the galaxy. One evening, as the Starforge orbited a beautiful blue world where former enemies were working together to build a new city, Katie sat in her captain's chair and smiled. "Any regrets?" Aria asked gently. Katie thought about her old life, the yard sales, her garage workshop, her quiet suburban street. Then she looked at the stars and thought about all the friends she had made and lives she had helped change. "None," she said firmly. "This is exactly where I'm supposed to be." The ship that had been sold for $2 at a garage sale had indeed become the most valuable thing in the galaxy. Not because of its weapons or technology, but because it had taught everyone that even the smallest person could make the biggest difference. And in the depths of space, where the Restored were building monuments to peace instead of war, the galaxy was finally learning that love was stronger than hate, hope was stronger than fear, and that sometimes the best leaders were the ones who led with their hearts instead of their heads. Katie Sullivan, the 12-year-old girl who had become captain of the stars, had shown them all that the most important journey wasn't through space, but toward understanding each other. The adventure was just beginning.